All right. I think everything's up and running right now. Um, welcome back. Welcome back. It's been 3 days because been a lot going on, and I needed to take care of some stuff. Moving workstations and doing all these things has been a lot. But I'm back. I'm back doing Path of Senshi. So welcome. So I think I'm gonna take a break a little bit. Like, I was doing the art pieces, the Sumier ink style painting pieces, but I think I'm gonna take a break from that today because the last time that I worked on Path of Senshi, or the last time I was working on this, I kind of spoke to my brother about it, and I think that he has a lot of really good ideas, and I think that the game does need a lot of this stuff implemented or added in, and to bring that depth that I'm looking for, I think I have to now that I've had this slight playtest with him, which I will make sure to record the next one. I think I'm gonna switch gears into trying to get some of this other stuff implemented. So here on the screen right now, I was working on the weapon cards for the game, essentially. So these weapon cards, they my brother had the idea to sort of bring the weapon cards all together rather than them be separated apart. So instead of having, oh, I got this training weapon, I got this handcrafted weapon, I got this standard, this mastercrafted, ancestral weapon, the weapons would all be consolidated onto the same card rather than it be. So this is kind of me trying to accommodate that, and I think that that is very good input. Very good input. And I'm always happy to accept more input from, if anybody has any ideas about any things about the game, I'm always happy to accept new input. So kind of just going through some of the things that me and my brother talked about that I think are good input for the game. So we kind of had a phone call. The first thing was consolidate the weapon cards into one weapon card, essentially. So if I have a training weapon and then I upgrade it to the handcrafted, or I upgrade it to the standard, it'll all be shown on the same card rather than me having to go grab another card. I think that was very good input. Another really good input that he told me, which I think that this is true, and this is something I've been that's been a real challenge even in the earlier phases of me designing the game, was making the deck building feel intentional. Like, if you're deck building in any of these deck building games, like, oh, I'm deck building in Star Realms, or I'm deck building in Magic, or I'm deck building in Yu-Gi-Oh, or I'm deck building any game that involves deck building, you want it to feel like the choices you're making, or the cards that you're drawing, the stuff that you're taking, will culminate into a deck that you feel like you put together, that you feel like that you were training for, and stuff like that. So one idea that he had, which I think is a good idea, and I think that in some ways he just wanted to change it because he wasn't getting the cards that he wanted, which is funny, but I think it's fair. I think it's a fair point, is to have the technique decks be split into maybe 3 categories. One would be close range weapons, one would be long range weapons. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming in. I will consider that. Yeah, come be a fan. Sure. But anyways, so it's going to be split into 3 categories, which is what I'm thinking. A close range attack, close range weapon deck, a close range fighting deck, a long range fighting deck, and maybe a middle in between where it's balanced, but maybe the cards aren't as one way or the other. I'm trying to think of what the third one might be, that in between. But basically the close range weapon deck would have the bash, the strike, and the cut. And then the long-range weapon deck would have the thrust, the slash, and the sweep, which is represented by these symbols here, basically. So these are the long-range attacks, and then this is one of the close-range attack types. So basically, depending on the, so if let's just for example say I'm wielding a katana, or yes, I have a katana. That's the type of weapon I want to go for. The katana works the best in close range. So I would want to be drawing from the close range weapon deck, like the close range technique deck, to try to like build up my close range strength, like how good I am at fighting at close range. And maybe within that, there would be a lot more close range defense cards. You know what I mean? So it would feel like more intentional for what you're training for rather than not. And I think that that's a good starting point for making the building of your technique, of your craft, of your skill feel a little more intentional. Because currently, the way it is right now, all the technique cards are combined together, and you're drawing 3, you're drawing 2, and keeping 1. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there is a choice involved in that, but I think he could be right in that focusing on like a closer long range, especially since the game has in the combat has a lot of emphasis on close and long range. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's another really good input that he gave me, and I think that's a great one. So I'm going to try to see about splitting that. Another great input, which I think is which this is definitely, I was like, let's see how it goes, but I think this is good, so I'm gonna say it, is actually, let me bring up an example really quick to kind of show you how this functions. Just give me one moment. Okay, so here is an example of a defense card right now, and here's an example of a offense card. All right. So these cards, I mean, they're not exactly, obviously they're probably gonna change over time, but basically, how the combat works is this is a blue cut. So this is don't worry about all the other stuff, but this deals 7 damage and it's a high attack at close range. That's what these symbols essentially mean. The defense, this isn't the best example of a defense. I'm gonna grab one of the other ones because this one I'll explain in a second why it's not the best example. Okay, this is a better example. So the reason this wasn't a good example, this other one that I grabbed, is because it can defend from every direction. That's what the slashes mean, like, or that's what the markings mean around the defense. So this means that it could defend in all directions. That's not what I wanted, because what my brother had suggested doesn't have anything to do with that specifically. What it has to do with is this. So I guess he felt, which I think is true. I think when people play these games, they don't want to feel like they can't do anything. You know what I mean? So as a answer for, you know, something that, well, so basically what it is when you defend, he's suggesting that you should be able to discard a card to add an additional direction to wherever this is defending from. I think that does have some weird issues with it. So basically how this works, if I do a high cut, this can defend against the high cut because it's defending high, okay? This also defends middle, but it defends high. So if I play this 7 attack, this 7 high cut against somebody, and they play this card, they can technically defend against it because they're also doing a high defense maneuver. But he's suggesting if this was like maybe a low cut, maybe it was the lower one, I wouldn't be able to defend with this but I could instead discard a card to basically add that additional defense, and then I would remove. I would make these maybe have one defense on the top, or one defense on the side, rather than it be like multiple defense like all around. But some of them would still have that. I think the only issue with this is I think it makes the middle defense a little overpowered, because okay, if I'm defending middle, that means I can discard a card to defend top or bottom. But if I'm defending top, I'd have to discard 2 cards to defend the bottom. But a middle attack is not as much damage as a high attack, so I don't know. I'd have to think of the balancing around that essentially. But anyways, so that was his other suggestion. One I'm thinking of, I'm considering it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's good to have an answer to stuff. But one thing that I think is wrong with that, if I had to sort of pick it apart, or maybe it's something wrong with the game. I mean, it could be something wrong with the game, in a sense. But if you run out of cards in your hand, then you're just gonna get hit with whatever damage comes your way. So I think it's more of like a resource management, and I think to discard cards at that level would really make your hand just run out, and then you'll just get hit by whatever comes after. So I think that there's a balance between like how I want to make this combat. The combat right now is very snappy. It's very fun. There's a lot of like pretty cool interactions with it. But I still have to kind of think about what my brother had suggested. I don't know if I'm going to exactly take that idea, but I always appreciate any sort of input into the game if people have them, or any sort of thoughts on it if people have them. And I do try to be as objective as possible and try to make it, but the game is going to be what it's going to be in the end, like however it gets designed, or however it gets put together, it's going to be what it is. I think that he kind of linked me this video, and I was kind of watching it. It was about how the interaction between players over time, like how original board games changed, and how like there's a lot of like, oh, I'm playing my own game and not interacting with other people, or there's a lot of like it's all interaction, so there's not really you sort of playing your own game. And I think that there's like a balance between the two, and I already kind of knew this, and I've been trying to balance that out within this game, within this game itself. But I don't want to give up on stuff like the video was talking about how, sometimes people don't feel good when they get beat by something, when they get like knocked, like you get attacked or you take damage, like that doesn't feel good. But I mean, at what point do I just have to make everybody feel good? Like the game is still a game. I still want it to be the game that I want to play, like the game that I like to play. On top of that, so I don't want to get too caught up in like trying to make everybody feel good, but I am trying to actively make those moments maybe not feel as bad, maybe not be as destructive. And I think that I've really tried to achieve that in the workings of like the death mechanic in the game. Like you die in the game, like if you die in the game, you're not dead permanently. You just, like your son or your daughter will take up your arms, and you'll basically you'll shuffle your starter cards back in your deck, and you'll now basically be like a new, like your next generation of fighter. Hold on one second. The music's a little loud for me. Just want to turn it down. Might be a little loud for other people too, so I'll turn it down for you guys slightly. Okay. Yeah, so there's that part about the like interaction between players, and I think that there's a lot that can be achieved with making a little more interaction within the game. So that was kind of another suggestion that my brother had made, and I think that this is true, and this is something I've thought of, but I just haven't, I haven't delved super deep into it yet, which is maybe why I shouldn't get too caught up in doing the art of the game. But I am going to keep doing the art, just because I need that to keep moving, like one way or another. So I may not always live stream every little thing that I'm creating in the game, it's just kind of impossible for me to do that because sometimes I'm designing stuff on the go. But I do try to have these. I am going to try to have more of these conversations, these about the game, working through these sorts of pieces. Like right now, I'm working on these new weapon cards. Basically trying to get like a better organization of like, you know, instead of having to grab a bunch of new cards, I think I'm trying to fit everything onto one sheet, and I think that these are coming along pretty good. Like this is like maybe one draft example. Obviously, it would probably be more visually enhanced, but I think that this is a good layout right now for these weapon cards or something similar. I think this one was actually the katana was a little more, whoever it is. I don't even see it here. Did I open that one? Hold on one second. Maybe I didn't open that one. Yeah, I guess I didn't open it. Yeah, I guess it might be something a little more like this. I tried to fit stuff. I tried to put the katana like stuff on top, like the level stuff on top. And then the weapon ranging and the special ability. So yeah. Was there anything else that we were talking about? Oh, sorry, I totally got lost my train of thought there. Basically for the interaction in the game, like to enhance like the interaction, I'm thinking of having like locations that affect like regions maybe, or affect provinces. So that like let's say, I don't know what would be a good example, but let's say the gambling, for example. Let's say one of the people wanted to do the gambling at the gambling house. Maybe when you activate the gambling house, everybody in the region or everybody in the province can also gamble with you at the same time. Like maybe there'd be that kind of thing. And maybe that would add like a little more fun for the like okay, maybe you would put up a certain ante for the gambling, and then you would both roll, or you both call Hancho, which is like the game of that well, at least that's what I think the game of that time was, at least from what I've seen in you know, Western media, as well as like my brief research into the Japanese feudal Japan period. It seemed like Hancho was a gambling game that was played at that time. It's very easy. You just roll 2 dice and you just say Han or Cho, which is the evens or odds, and whatever the number is, like those are the people that win. I think that there can be some sort of interaction with that, and it's very quick. That's why I added it in the game, because being able to just roll 2 dice and be evens or odds, like that's the win. I think that that's very easy to put into the game, and it's quick and it's fun. Adds a little spice to it. I think it was fun the last couple times. I think there could even be more by including other players in the region. Like, okay, me and you are in the same region, you're trying to gamble, then I can put up an ante or something like that, and then you would have to put up some money or something. I think that'd be like a really cool way to interact. And that was inspired a bit from Western Legends, if anyone's ever played that game. Western Legends had a like this, like you can play what's that game called? Like blackjack. Like you could play blackjack, which is also a pretty quick game. I think it was blackjack. Might have been like a matching game, I have no idea. But it was cool to have like a little mini game within the game. And yeah, that's kind of where that idea came from. So yeah, and that was really the main stuff. I think that there are moments maybe for some people. I mean, the game's not going to be for everybody. That's just kind of how it goes. And in some ways, I'm not making the game for everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's made for people who want to play this style of game, this type of game. And in the end, it's still going to be the best game that I could put together to fit what it needs to be. I mean, when I release this game, or when I put it out into Tabletop Simulator for people to try and playtest and whatever, I just want it to feel like the best game that I could put together, and within that, not having to worry about, like, I don't really care if it if people of the, you know, the mainstream of board game people and everybody don't enjoy the, like, however the game is that I put together. If I feel like it's perfect, which it takes a lot for something to feel perfect to me. So, and actually that's in some ways why I stopped doing some of my YouTube stuff, because it's just like I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to putting together a YouTube video. Oh my god, like, it's like so many hours to just like pick apart every little piece and just try to make that, like, that thing hit like exactly how I want. But in regard to this board game, I want it to just feel like that. I want every part of it to be thought through very thoroughly, and I want it to be a game that when I play it, or when anybody else who enjoys this style of game pulls it out and plays it, they're having like the best they're having the best time with it for what it is. So yeah, I think that's really a lot of the main stuff that I wanted to talk about. It's still gonna be free. I mean, I'm gonna make a printed version for myself to play when it's done, but if other people want a printed version when the time comes, I will do my hardest to make it available, because it is gonna be a very good game once it's completed. So anyways, those are some, I just wanted to kind of go through some of that stuff just to kind of like, you know, incentivize people if they want to give some input or have their whatever they feel about the game be put into the game. Like, there's always opportunity to discuss it, you know. So for now, I'm going to continue working through these weapon cards. I'll probably just like talk aloud about them. At least I got to do these. In terms of the other stuff that I may get to, I do want to try to give some thought into more thought into the balancing of the technique cards, and I do want to play around with that idea that my brother had, but I don't want to give it like too much. I don't want to delve like too deep into that yet, because I think that the way that the technique cards are set up right now is pretty balanced. And for the, what was I thinking of? For the location cards, like, those are really like the meat of the game, and those definitely need some help in terms of, you know, putting together like what maybe some new locations might be, or trying to build a little more interaction within the locations. So yeah, so that's what I'm focused on today. So yeah, so this is the katana card. It's supposed to only be good at close range. That's what this symbol is. This symbol is like a close range symbol, and this is the long range symbol. So for this one, this is basically what it would be. Now, one of the things that I was trying to think through about this was, what sort of special effects are these weapons going to have? Like, which of these weapons, like, what is going to be like the main effect of the katana, or what is going to be the main effect of the bow staff, or, you know, any of the weapons? And, you know, that's been a little bit of a challenge, because it's, you got to keep them balanced. And I'm kind of like, when I try to balance something, I mean, I feel like I've built on, you know, I've done enough like deck building in my life to kind of be able to be like, off of a vibe, off of a feel of like what feels balanced. I think I have a pretty good judgment on that, and I'm perfectly happy to go make something really powerful, or make everything really powerful, because once everything's once everything's super, then no one will be. So the weapon special effects, I've been trying to think through, which has been really a challenge. And also I've been kind of playing around with the ranges. I'm trying to play around with the different ranges. So for this katana, so the top part of the card just says, I feel like every card's going to kind of have the same sort of thing in the top. You know, it's going to be like, okay, If you have the training version, it's -1 damage. If you have the handcrafted version, there's no negative effects. There's no effect on it. If you have the standard version of the katana, like the standard katana, I also switched those around. It used to be standard, then handcrafted. Now it's going to be handcrafted, then standard. Or the names might change, but we'll see. Standard, you have the special effect of the weapon is active. Master crafted, you get +1 damage and the special effect is active. See, I can't fit that in that slot, so I kind of have to like think about that. And then ancestral is +2 damage plus your special effect is active. And those could also change, like the ancestral. One idea that we had throwing around is to have the weapons be able to have like an upgrade to like a more like a legendary version. Like maybe after Master Crafted, on the back of the card will be like an ancestral version of the weapon, and it'll have a name and maybe it'll have a unique effect. Maybe. I do have to keep the game balanced still, so I don't know if I'm gonna like make all the effects unique in terms of the ancestral weapons, but it could be fun. It could be interesting. Another thing, which I think is true, I think people's interest in, like, how much time do people have to play a board game? You know what I mean? Like, okay, do we have time to sit down for, you know, as a group and play 6 players? Do we sit down and have a 1v1? So stuff like that. Like, how much time are people able to put aside for certain games? I think it needs like does this game need to be faster? Me and my brother were playing a 1v1 and it took almost 3 hours. A game like, what's that game called? Lord of the Rings, like War of the Ring. Great game, by the way. That game takes the same amount of time for 2-player. So, but it's also themed, right? So you have like a Lord of the Rings themed game, or if you have a like Star Wars or Star Trek or any of these themes, if you have any of these themed games, then I feel like you're a little more patient about its progression. So does this game need to be does this game need to be faster, and can it be faster? It's a question. It's definitely gotten faster since what it used to be. It used to take 6 hours, like 6 to 7 hours. Now it only takes 3. And I think with the simultaneous play, it's still also going to be around 3. I did write some notes here. Let me see if there's anything in here worth saying. Yes. This was an awesome idea. I think that this is probably one of the best ideas that I've heard for this game, and it was by my friend on the Discord. So if you haven't joined the Discord, you're welcome to join the Discord, and you can say your ideas there as well. Doesn't matter to me. But so this idea is basically when you fight the NPC characters, right? So you have the bandit leader, who I was painting before, the bandit leader, and you have the military guys, right? So we were thinking, not just me, but we were thinking, when you beat the NPC, maybe you can recruit them. You can either choose to recruit them or you can choose to kill them. And if you recruit them, you can send them to fight in your stead when you can't get to defend the objective. So in the game, if someone's trying to take the location I captured and then another person trying to take my other location that I captured, I can basically send my recruit to one of those locations while I go defend the other one, and in that way you can kind of defend that with like a soldier or something like that. I think that's a really cool idea. Might be implemented, maybe not, but I like that idea a lot. And one issue we had during like a 1v1 was, oh, I'm gonna try to take this location, and then he moved over and he defended, and then I tried to take it again and he moved and he had to just stay there. He wasn't allowed to leave the region. I think I have a picture open. I think I might have talked about this before, but I'm gonna talk about it again. So he was like in this location here, and I was in this location, and I was trying to capture it, and then he couldn't leave because if he left and I attacked it again, he'd have to come back to defend it. So he was saying that, oh, you shouldn't have to move back to defend your objective. I mean, yeah, I guess you could fix it like that. Maybe that's the fix. Maybe you just don't get moved when you want to defend a location. But then why wouldn't I make it so you can defend every location? Like if someone's attacking one location or someone's attacking another location, why wouldn't I make it so I can just defend each of them? That's a good question too. Do I want to do that? Maybe. So I kind of have three things to think about. The first one is, do I want to use these recruiting guys to defend? If I do that, then do I want me to be able to defend multiple locations at once? Do I want to do those two things? Well, let me think. What is the issue with moving? Like, why did I originally put that you have to move to that place to defend? I believe that I included that because I wanted it to feel like, oh, you're how can you defend a place if you're across the map, you know? Just logically it didn't make any sense to me. So I kind of thought, okay, you should have to move back to defend your location. And also the locations were supposed to be important, but how important do they really need to be? Like, do they need to be the bread and butter of the entire game? Maybe. At least that's what my brother felt. He felt the locations were the bread and butter of the game. He could be right. He could be right about that. But yeah, I'm trying to think through some of this stuff. Sometimes it takes me a while to think about it. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could just make it so you don't have to move to defend the location. Although, if I did the soldier thing where you recruit, then maybe it would make it feel a little better. Or maybe I just put a limit on how many times you can attack the same location consecutively. Like maybe you're not allowed to attack the same location once you've been defended off the next round. And that's also an easy rule. Then it gives the player a chance to move, right? In the next round. Yeah, but even then... But then you'd maybe want to get these soldiers for recruiting. Like, do I want to have this recruiting idea? I like the recruiting idea. I think it's cool. I think it'd be cool to beat, like, a master or a bandit leader in and then be able to capture him as a character and use him. Maybe you could even use them to attack places. That could be cool. Maybe I'll write that down. You can use NPCs. It'd be like frickin' Pokemon. Try to catch them all. Nah, not really. Also, honor and dishonor, it played a role, but not like, and it wasn't like influential enough. I feel like it needed a little more between the honor and dishonor when I played. I guess these videos are just kind of ending up being just a log of me talking about this game, huh? Guess that's mostly what it is, or just putting together this game. And I guess I'll always be able to look back and see that I was putting this together. But why would I ever do that? Why would I ever look back and watch this stuff? It's good to have, though. It's a good record. So maybe some stuff won't get lost. All right. So alright, well, I'm gonna make just one more note here about the NPCs and the locations. There was also an idea to have the fighters like the NPCs would draw from the technique decks, and you would use kind of their fight effects. That was another idea. But like I said, I didn't want it to get too bogged down. I wanted the game to move along because, you know, six hours is a little too long for a board game these days. It's like I never want to play Twilight Imperium again. How many times have I played Twilight Imperium in my life? Maybe 3. 16-hour board game, basically. It's a fun game, but 16 hours is crazy. 16 hours for a board game is fucking crazy. Alright, so let's look at these weapon cards. Maybe I'll think of something as I move through here. So the katana... When a katana affinity card is used in a chain, you activate draw a card. I did like that. I think it's really strong, but the katana can only attack at close range, or maybe it can only chain at close range. I'm trying to figure out. I think it can only attack at close range. It really should only be able to chain from close range too, right? Alright, so the katana is probably good. I was going to try to put these other cards into the same sort of format. is this one. So I'll just run through and do that, and if I think of anything along the way, I'll call it. I don't think I need these anymore, but I'll keep them open just in case. And the Yari can only attack at long range. Was what it was supposed to be. Twilight Imperium is definitely more of an experience than a game. That is 100% accurate. And I'll tell you, the experience that I had for that game at the end was not a pretty one. Not a pretty one. Yeah, Twilight Imperium. I do like Twilight Imperium, but I don't know. It's crazy. You text everybody like, hey, anyone want to play Twilight Imperium right now? And everyone's like, bro, what are you talking about? No one has the time for that shit. It's so crazy. I'm glad you knew. I'm glad you knew about Twilight Imperium. Called it out. I think it definitely hinges on the player group. If everyone is brought in and willing to meet once a week for a month, then it's a pretty dope experience. However, it's a bunch of new players. Yeah, it is. You know something about Twilight Imperium though? It's not overly complicated of a game, I think. Like in its like fundamental form, like when you're playing it, it's not that complex. I feel like it's like, oh, I put a ship down, and then you make like a thing, and or you make like a diplomatic action or something like that. Like I feel like it's very straightforward of a game, but it just is very long. Oh, Axis and Allies. Oh my god. Oh my god. I tried to. We owned that game, but we never played it. I think we opened the box and tried to like figure it out one time, and it just never happened. We just could not. We just could not bring ourselves to play the game. But we all really liked that era, you know, like that, like World War II. Like we all really liked that era, but I just couldn't. We just couldn't make it happen. Even attempt to play it. But yeah, Twilight Imperium, you know, it's a funny story. My brother, he doesn't really. Yeah, he can get angry at stuff, but I've never seen him get this angry over a game, like violently angry, just wild. I've never seen him get like that over anything. But for some reason, when you're playing a game for 16 hours. Something in his brain just like switches into just like this like wild mode, and he just lost it at the end, like just lost his mind. It was actually crazy. I've never seen that happen to him before. And on that day, like he got like really aggressive. I think he like shoved one of my friends into a chair or some crazy shit like that. On that day, I was like, I am never playing Twilight Imperium with you again. And you're a real piece of shit. He really is. It's crazy. I hate to say it, but it was just like the most wild experience ever. But I was never gonna play Twilight Imperium with him after that. I was like, you are unhinged, my brother. Unhinged. In my opinion, I played a lot of games. I don't really get mad at games. I think that's like one of my things that I've like acquired over the years. I just kind of like try to laugh through the game, you know, even if it's like a game that can be a little more infuriating. Like, okay, if usually I think fighter games get people angry. Like if I'm playing a fighter game, even a video game, a fighter video game, that always gets people angry. It's like a ultimate challenge. Like, oh, this is the duel of my life right now. If you're playing like Super Smash Brothers, you're playing like Mortal Kombat, you're playing like, any of these fighter type of games, Magic. I played Magic with a guy who got so angry with me for no, like, just, we're just playing a game. He's like, I've never seen this happen. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's what the cards do. So crazy. I empathize. Yeah. I have a hard time turning game design brain off and not criticizing the game. Oh my god, dude. It's literally my... I have two brothers. That's literally how my other brother is. He wants to... Every game we play, he gets to the end of the game. He's never designed a game in his life. I always told him that he should, but I don't know. He's just, like, not driven like that, I don't think. But... at the end of every game, he'll just, like, want to change something about it. I'm like, I know that feeling. Like, I know the feeling of a game, like, obviously having these mistakes. I really try to play a game for what it is. Like, whoever, like, if you put a game in front of me, or put a board game in front of me, video game, whatever, I just try to play it for what it is. Doesn't mean I'm going to love it, but I do also want to change some stuff for it, you know? Everybody has a different idea, a better idea in their head about what a game should be. And I definitely feel that. For sure, playing games. That's actually, in some ways, what inspired me to build this game, was that I wanted, like, I just didn't want to change other people's work. Like, you put the work in and the effort, you made this game, this is what you want it to be. I get that, but I'm just going to try to make what I feel like would be the best game, you know? Yeah. There's always, there's different people. Different people. That's how it goes. Yeah, I definitely wanted to design a game, though. There was a moment in time where I just, like, I was like, really just came to me, like, at one night. I just felt very deep passion inside of me to just make a game. I think I've been playing games for so long, and I just felt like, okay, I think I should just make one now. I think I should. I feel like I have the understanding of what would make a game fun and how to put it together, and I just really felt driven. Also, there wasn't a game like this game that I was able to find. I mean, maybe there is. You seem to know a lot about board games, but I haven't found a feudal Japanese game where it's like, I'm the warrior, I'm trying to train, like, to bring in that, like, immersive experience. I just feel like I haven't seen that in a board game. I've played some, like, feudal Japan type games, but they never satisfied the craving that I have to make this game. So I'm just attempting to make this game, and we'll see how it goes. But I am going to try to make it the best game I possibly can. 100%. So this layout, moving back into what we're working on here. Thanks for chatting, by the way. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you did. It's cool to know that you're of the same mind, you know? That's what I like. So each of these weapon cards is basically like something you're trying to master in the game, you know? Like, oh, I have this katana or this yari, like you're trying to master that weapon so that you can defeat or you can capture locations and defeat different, like, bots or NPCs in the game. Rising Sun, I actually owned that game and I haven't had a chance to play it, but I have, like, seen how it plays, and it is very interesting to me. But that's the only one that I've been able to find but it still isn't, it's not exactly what's in my head. I've seen it played, I've seen, like, gameplay and stuff like that of it, and I still don't feel like that's the only one that people ever suggest is that game. So it's like, there's gotta be someone's gotta make one that's like this. Yeah, I've seen that. And then there was this other game, this old one. It was like this, like, you were like controlling armies, these like samurai armies. It was like a little more focused on like army building, like fighting between the different clans of that time. Like that was the that was kind of, I don't remember what the game was called though, but there was that one as well, and I did look into that a bit. I forgot. I think this one I wanted to be discard. Oh, Blood Rage I played. I actually like Blood Rage, but my brothers don't like it. They think the cards are unbalanced, which is fair. I think the cards are unbalanced. I think there's like some cards that are super powerful and some cards that are just like not good at all. But I do like Blood Rage a lot. I did have a lot of fun with that. They won't play that with me anymore though. They didn't really like it that much. Just for the card reason. They just felt like the cards were kind of all over the place. And like I said, I can't like entirely disagree. I think some of the cards were definitely like way more powerful than other cards. Yes. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Like, you know the path that you're gonna go, and you know if someone's already like getting too into that path, then that's kind of the end of it. I do kind of agree with that. Is that the way you're like sacrificing the guys? Like you're trying to sacrifice the guys into like Valhalla, and then you like get the victory points by like having them, what do you call it? Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. I definitely remember that one. There is Blood Rage is a very unique game. I like that it has like the ages that it kind of like moves through. I think that was a really good idea. And I also like that in Seven. I don't know if you ever played Seven Wonders, but I like that in Seven Wonders, the ages. I think that's a unique way to kind of like make the game feel like it's progressing. And the different power levels with each age. I think that's maybe it's made by the same guy. I have no idea. Yeah. What do you think about that game? Yeah, like it's like yeah, I guess it kind of is. I think it's like almost entirely you playing by yourself, but there's like a little interaction. It's like you're trying to get the most victory points at the end. I like the idea of victory points. This game that I'm making has to do with victory points as well, but there definitely is not as much interaction as Seven Wonders as I think is desired from a game. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, my brother was talking about that. Agreed. Agreed. It had the only like offense it has is like it's not really like okay, it's like, oh, I have more attack than you, and I just get victory points and you get negative. Yeah, that is exactly how it is. We did stop playing it. Like, we haven't played it, and I was just talking to him about that, because one thing I think we were having a conversation about being this exact thing. Like, I was talking about it earlier in the stream. I was talking about like interaction between players. Like, I think there is a level of like balance that you need to like bring. It can't just be I'm only doing everything by myself, or the whole game is just like I have no control over. I think that like there's like a really fine balance to reach, and I'm trying to get there with this. I think that this game has leaned a little too far in the building. Like there was not enough interaction. Like me and my brother fought a couple times, and that there is that interaction, but there's not any interaction among the locations. Like in the board here, you have the different, like, these are where the location cards go that you can like activate, and I want those to have a little more cause to make you interact with the other players. So I was thinking of like a gambling version, like because you can play Hancho in like at one of the locations, like at the gambling den, and right now it's okay, I just do Hancho and I win or I lose. I think it'd be cool to do something like in Western Legends where other players can maybe like bid into that quick dice roll. Usually the only interactions that happen are like denying resources to another player by taking it yourself. Yeah. That it literally is like that. It's boring, that game. For the playtesting question, so this game I've been working on for like over a year, but it's completely evolved from what it used to. Like, it was not even the same game at all. It used to be this like fighter game, and I did do a lot of playtesting. Like, each time I had this new revision of this vision, it was a different like playtest. So the first time we playtested, it was like this like white hex board, and you're moving on the hex board and you're trying to like get around the enemy. You're trying to like stab them from behind, stab them from the front. It was a cool game, but the original vision I had of this game was I wanted it to be like I'm exploring feudal Japan and I'm fighting. So when I first started the game, I really focused on the fighting part. I was like, I need to make the fighting feel really good. I really wanted to make the fighting feel really good. So that was like the entire core focus for like a whole year, like trying to get this fighting right, trying to get this, this thing right. And then after I felt like I had that all figured out, then I tried to add this part of the game, which was the adventure portion of the game. And we did a playtest of that, and that game was really long. That was like an 8-hour game, because it went from this game where you're adventuring around and training, and then there was like a fight at the end. That was how the game was. But it was literally like 2 separate games, and it was like a huge problem. I was like, this is not what I was thinking. I was not imagining a 6 to 8 hour game where it's like 2 separate games. Like, you played in this game, built your deck and everything, then you went to this game and you fought, and it was just like, shit, man. It was really fun, but it wasn't it. Like, it definitely wasn't it. I was like, this is not the idea, because it had too many ups and downs. It was like you're up and you're feeling really great about it, and then there was like huge lows, and you're like, fuck, this is like dragging on. I really love Western Legends. It's got a lot of problems, but the sandbox element of it, yes, that's exactly it. It does have a lot of problems. Western Legends has a huge amount of problems, but it has its way. It has its like unique style. It's fun. I do like Western Legends. My brother hates it. One of my brothers loves it. Like, me and him both love it, but my other brother, he just hates it. He's like, it's too unbalanced, it has too many issues. I'm like, it does. It really does have too many issues. It's like, it could be a great game. And I would have edited that game, but I don't want to work, again, I don't want to edit someone else's work. So, yeah. Exactly. You're trying to satisfy the fantasy of being a Ronin. Like Akira Kurosawa. Oh, the Akira Kurosawa film. I don't know which films those are exactly, but I have seen. I mean, it could be. Is it like? Is he the director of like the Yojimbo films? Is that what it is? I've seen Yojimbo, and I've seen what's the other one? Damn, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, those films are awesome. Yes, I do want to. I want to capture that, but I'm also trying to be true to like the Japanese like stuff as well. Like I didn't want it to all be like okay, just like Western stuff. I wanted it to be. I want it to kind of feel realistic. Seven Samurai. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, those are great films. I do want to capture that to a sense, in a sense, like that energy, that feeling. But like I said, I am trying to be really true to like what the, like some of the realities of like Japanese and like the fighting. Like the original fighting I had in the game was based on like, I was really trying to encompass the actual martial arts like form of the fight. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was doing, like high attacks, low attacks, middle attacks, like blocks, and some of that stuff is still in this game. You know, like everything I did in that other part of the game, it all is, there's parts of it that are still exist here because like it wasn't like, oh, I just gave up on that altogether. Like this has been just like a transformation into this game. But I do want to capture stuff. I want to capture that sort of element or that sort of feeling. Or even like there's been some other like films and things that I've seen. I went to Japan for a short while, and I really enjoyed being there. And I feel like I kind of was like, I don't know, like that was the first time I ever had gone to like another country. And then I went to Indonesia and I went to a couple other places, but I was really impressed by Japan, and I've always liked samurai stuff. I always liked samurai movies, and because this board game doesn't exist, I was like, I gotta be the one to put it together. Like that's how I felt. I was like, I would like to have a board game on my shelf that would fit this. Oh, Yojimbo is him as well. There we go. See, I forgot the other guy, the blind guy. I can't remember his name. Yojimbo. Zatuichi. That's who it was. Zatuichi. That was it. Those are the other ones that I had seen. Those are great movies, I have to say. But yes, that is what this game will be. It's gonna be like, it's gonna try to encompass that sort of energy, that sort of fun, and you know, it's so all the art in the game I'm trying to do myself as well. Like I'm working on these what do you call it? I kind of had I have my other work over there right now, but I think I have one of the pieces in here. Let's see. These are pretty cool. I'm really trying to like not have the art be like bullshit art. Let's see. I'm trying to hand draw on some of it myself and like paint it with like a traditional like Japanese like feel. Like look at this. So this is the bandit leader. It's not finished yet. I'm gonna probably paint the back. Actually, I had to stop my last stream. I was painting this, but I kind of got. Yeah. I'm trying to get the. Like, have you ever seen those like old Japanese like paintings? I don't know, like woodblock paintings. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get like that vibe going on with it, and I think I could do it. I think I could put them. I think I could put most of them together like that. I got these like Sumie pens that I've been using for them. These things are sick. These are like these like Japanese pens that I got. And I think they achieve what I'm looking for pretty well. And then I can just pull it into Photoshop and do some of like the watercolor stuff because I can't paint. But I'm trying to put it together like this. I want all the pieces in the game to be like at least have a base of you know, hand drawing or this kind of like style, this side of painting. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Well, you could judge my amateur pieces. I thought it came out pretty good though. I thought I got a good I think I got a good thing going with it. I had another one. I don't know if I painted it. Oh well, actually just the background of my thing here is technically this is the game. I was thinking about making this the cover, probably. At least that's the cover right now. Could change. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. 100% agree with that. Yeah, I'm trying. I definitely want it to be to have that, because there's no point in doing like some nonsense. I don't know. When I play when me and my brother has like he's still like really into Magic the Gathering. I kind of like drew away from that as much as possible just because of how much Magic the Gathering costs in general. But all the cards that we play in his little cube that he has are like pre-scourged, like it's like the old art, and I think that art does look the coolest. Model trains are for nerds. My dad has model trains, but he never sets them up. And my brother has Magic cards, but no one plays with them. The struggles of a collector. Yeah. So funny. Yeah, but the vision's here. This game's gonna be great. Ah, yeah. I used to have a lot of Magic cards, but just couldn't. I just didn't want to keep up with it. And I knew if I had them, I'd keep wanting to build, because I love to like build. I always like to deck build. So I tried to transfer that energy to this. I'm like, oh, I'm doing all this deck building and all these like all this stuff with that. I was like, I'll just transfer my energy over to something that I could put together. And that's how I ended up doing this. I'm too deep now. It's too deep now. Can't escape. Nah, it's fun. I like working on this game. It's actually one of those things where it's like I'm surprised how much I've been enjoying like working on it and putting it together. It's like one of the first things I felt really great about for designing something. I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be my thing. But I still need help though. This game is it's a lot. It takes a lot. I wish my brother had a little more time. He's always busy. He has good knowledge though, and when he does play, when he I mean, you can play test if you want. I've been I do want to like get people to try playtesting the game. I had sometimes I get a couple of my friends able to play, but everybody's like, of course, busy. That's how it is these days. It's like everyone's busy. Can't play board games anymore. What do you mean? Adulting right now. I actually haven't played 40K, but I've seen a lot about it. And I think I've seen that at the game stores. A couple of game stores I've been to, they have like a whole table set up for it. That's like movement without there's no board, right? You just kind of like move pieces like a certain distances and stuff. I think it was something like that. I never played though. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of if it's the game I'm thinking of, it kind of reminds me of like Gears of War. At least like the theme. Maybe 40K came first. Yeah. Man. Oh wow. So Gears just stole that. You know, you gotta, you gotta, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. You could just make a better wheel. But sometimes people don't make the better wheel. Sometimes their attempt fails. Where did my thing go? Just disappeared. There it is. That's true. That's true. And there hasn't been enough variety in these Japanese board games. This ain't gonna work. Awesome, dude. Thanks so much for that. I really appreciate it. I am gonna try to post more about stuff there, and I'll put you in right now. Thanks a lot. Awesome. The first Discord joiner goes to Arkvane. Arkvane. Thank you. Have a good one, man. Cool. Cool. See, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's good. These see that guy understands it. He gets it. He gets the games. You know what I mean? You get the games, you get to play. Get the games, you get to play. Yeah, I really hope. I have no idea if he's actually going to be able to join, which is so funny. But we're gonna find out. If he gets to join, he gets to join. I still have to figure out the Discord. I don't even know if it's working correctly. Oops. Yeah, I don't even know if it's working correctly in terms of people joining or not. But thanks for trying. See how it goes. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll see if I can figure it out later. So funny. Zatuichi. So yeah, so we're working through these weapon cards again. This Kusari Gamma, it's like it's not the right shape. It's gonna I'm gonna have to redraw it in like a vertical form. So I'm gonna move through that. Okay. Okay. So anyways, this is for the Kusari Gamma. Yeah, so this one I was trying to think of how this would work. So these like close range, long range tokens, originally they were supposed to be like, okay, these are the types of attacks you can do at the different ranges. But I might change that to be attacks and chains. Or, well, if I had this katana here, this does a cut, a strike at close range. Doesn't make any sense. Is this what it can chain to? Can't actually remember. I apologize. I'm just trying to find out what this rule was that I put. That is the oldest rule book I could have found. Okay, this is it. Let's see. The katana. Weapon mastery. Hand management. Explore action. The location card where combat is occurring specifies the starting range, either close or long. Some locations, okay. Both. PvP combat is played in response-based format with the defending player defending what the defensive player is doing. An offensive player, you must exhaust your hand of offensive cards if possible. You choose the order in which you play your offensive cards. Yeah, I know, okay. But that's not telling me about the range here. The katana can only play an attack at close range, and the yari can only attack at long range. But it's not only about the attack though. think it was about the chains. I think this might have been about the chains. Because, okay, so my thinking is right now, this is close range. I don't think the bash, the thrust, and the slash... No, wait. I don't think the sweep, the slash, or the thrust are even have a close range effect. Like, they can't even do close range. So I don't know why I'm showing them there. That's where I confuse myself a bit. What do I have on the bow staff? Yeah, see, like, why do I have it like that? Did I just confuse myself? It's not that you can't do it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is a new mechanic, that's why I'm thinking about it. So I apologize if at times I'm thinking and not speaking. If the range starts in... No. You gain a new weapon. Discard a card, change the range. Make an attack out of the range. Discard a card to make an attack out of the current range. Then this... I know about that. Man, I'm trying to think about this thing here. What I had this as. It doesn't make entirely sense. This is supposed to be... So when you play an attack card from your hand, when I play I can show this one. Like when I play High Cut, it's gonna cost something. See, this is where it gets confusing. I don't even know if I need these. Well, I need this part. Maybe it doesn't need the stars. I don't want to change these right now, but... So if I do a High Cut... And I'm using something like the Kusarigama, like this should be up here, because all of the high attacks are close. All the high cuts are close range. That's the idea. Cuts are close range. Cuts are linked with Kusarigama, with the katana. Cuts are close range, and they're linked with the katana. The katana's attacks are cut attacks, basically. The Kusarigama's attacks are strikes, but it can use cuts because it's in the same vein of a close range weapon. It's the most similar in this game to the katana, essentially, is how it works. As you work up the ladder of high damage to low damage, so you have this high cut that's 7 damage on, and it's good with the katana and the katana and the Kusarigama. As you go to 5 damage, which is the middle cut, the amount of chain options available to you down here increase. That I don't know if that's enough. That I don't know if it's enough. But how this influences the weapons right now is because this is a katana and it's blue cut and it's close range. I shouldn't have that this is showing in the long range category because it's not a long range move. Like, it's not possible to be long range, so it doesn't make sense for me to have it there is what I'm saying. But I'm trying to think if I was, like, was I thinking of something else when I did that? Like when I put these here? Because I might have been thinking of something else. Like I might have had to do with chaining. Which... But I think I just had it wrong. This is what I show it as before. Now why do I show it like that? Because I guess maybe I just made a mistake. This is the Yari has a special ability, and it excels at long range attacks. It doesn't do the close range attacks. So I think the point here is these should be removed. It has a strong ability, so it won't have it'll have to discard a card to play close range attacks, essentially, is how it works. At least that's how I'm trying to balance it right now. That could change in the future. And that might have been confusing, but I will attempt to explain it one more time after I get in the next card. So this is the Yari. It's a long-range weapon. It's supposed to be long-range. These are the long-range attack types. Sweep/thrust. These can be played at close range, but it costs you discarding a card to activate them like that. It costs you to discard a card because you're using the Yari. If you're using the Kusarigama, maybe I should just pick one. If you're using the Katana, it's a close range weapon, so you would also have to discard a card using this weapon. But if you had something like the Kusarigama, which I've been thinking to make sort of like semi-close, semi-long range, then I would have these available. Maybe I wouldn't have Bash, or maybe I would have Bash, I don't know. Maybe I'd have Bash. It can do all the close range stuff, but it also dabbles in long range a little, maybe with the sweep. Because the Kusarigama has that weight on the end of the chain. See? Right there. So I was thinking of trying to make them have some of the same sort of aspect. Like, I try to make it realistic too. To as much of an extent as I can without it ruining the game. I mean, I'm not going to go, like, so realistic that it's, you know, it's not fun anymore. So there's a middle ground there. There's a middle ground there, for sure. When a Yari affinity card is used in a chain, you activate. No, wait. So I gotta check one thing. Oh, don't look at those. It doesn't matter. I didn't say anything. So in my drive, I have a file which talks about the different weapon abilities I came up with for the weapons. But I probably also just wrote it on the weapons, didn't I? No, I didn't. I didn't put it on the weapons. Interesting. I put it on the weapon cards. Check there. Like the printed cards. Let's see. Weapon cards. What the? I'm not gonna even look for that there. I'm not even gonna find it. Okay. So this is sort of the file I broke down. And how this works is these are the 3 attack sorry. There's the 6 attack types, right? Cutting, thrusting, sweeping, slashing, striking, and bashing. And they're linked to each weapon. So bashing is more of the Tetsubo's special was what it was supposed to be. Like that the orange symbol, I should have color coded them like that. Probably would have made more sense. But didn't need to make sense for you. It's supposed to make sense to me. The Tetsubo was the bashing move, but bashing also fits the bow staff because it's the blunt. It's like another blunt weapon, and it was the same in reverse for the sweeps. Like the sweeps would be like the Tetsubo's attack, but also the bow staff would sweep its attacks around as well. So it kind of has. I tried to be true to that as well in my thought with the designing of the weapons and stuff like that. So, but not gonna make that to a fault to the point where it's like, oh, was this what I was going for? I gotta see if I could expand on that. We'll see what happens. So for this one, the ability I had after successfully no, this is the katana. Wait. Once per combat, when you successfully deal damage, that player discards a card. Can use bashing and sweeping at long range. So I had this thing able to use bashing and see, that doesn't make sense. I can use bashing and sweeping at long range. What does that mean? See, it just doesn't make sense. Unless I was thinking of it a different way. Like, if bashing is a close range attack, and I'm saying you can use bashing at long range, I guess that just means I can use the bashing attacks at long range and it doesn't cost anything. But the card itself changes the range sometimes. If you do an attack, the range changes. Or if you're chaining attack, the range changes. No, if you're doing an attack, the range changes. Depending on the attack type. I think that's how I was playing it before. Slashing, thrusting. I think it's an inconsistency. Like saying I could use bashing at long range, it's inconsistent. So I'm not going to say that. By the way, this isn't the Yari, so... It could have something to do with the affinity cards. It's either the affinity cards or the... affinity cards... or the chaining is what I have it for the effects. For the special abilities, I have The Yaris is when the Yari affinity card is used in a chain, you activate. Not. Target opponent discards a card. It's supposed to be a very powerful ability with a like because your attacks are restricted. That's how it's supposed to be. The katana also has a very strong special, right? Its special is if you play an affinity card, if you play a katana affinity card, like the katana with the symbol on it, this is the affinity. That's how you know the attack is an affinity. If you use this attack with that card type, you get to draw a card. Also very powerful. So I tried to restrict its range to close range. You understand? I tried to make it have that restriction. So now I'm trying to think of abilities for these other cards. Like what was this one I came up? Did I come up with one for the bow staff? See, now the bow staff can use attacks. The bow staff would have a slightly weaker effect than that because drawing and discarding cards is a huge benefit in games like this, in my opinion. It's not really an opinion. It's just kind of a fact. I don't even know why I said my opinion. That's just like a fact. But so it would have a slightly weaker ability, but it can attack efficiently in both ranges with specific attacks. That was what I was thinking about here. So because it's in close range, it doesn't have to discard a card for using a bash. And it also doesn't have to discard a card at any of the long range. Now let's see what the special ability was. Once per combat, when priority is yours, you may change the range without discarding a card. See, I think that's pretty good. A pretty good ability. I mean, I know that no one's seen the range changing, but basically how it works is when you do an attack, depending on the attack type, like if you're at close range and you use a close range attack, you don't have to discard a card. If you're at close range and you use a long range attack, you have to discard a card to change the range. So if you wanted to do that with this card, if you had the bow staff, you wouldn't have to change. You wouldn't have to discard a card to do that. I think that's pretty strong. So I'm going to leave that as is. I need to come up with one for the Naginata, though. Which I totally didn't even... And also this configuration is wrong. I don't know why I copied over the wrong... Or maybe that was like that, I don't know. Maybe it was like that before. This is a better configuration. Okay. So this bow staff. The ranges are wrong. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Long range. Never mind. I guess the card would change, right? So I'm just thinking. Just enjoy the music for now. It's working time. There we go. I think the katanas, oh, wait, not these. So yeah. That's how it would be. Satuichi boy. So funny. See, that's a good. That's a good. That's accurate. That's accurate. Now, any of these games that you kind of play, I think, like you don't have to know how to play it. You don't have to like know this every game. You know, you don't have to know how to play every game. Stuff like that. Sometimes you could just learn a new game, try a new game. Sometimes that's all it's about. You don't have to know how to play Seven Wonders and all these other games, all these things. Although, I guess it does help, right? Yar. Yar har diddly dee. I kind of like half expected. No, I didn't really half expect. I didn't expect, but I would have nicely expected, like, you know, someone to finish that thought. We're not pirates here. We're not pirates here. Fuck, man. Alright, so this one's done. I told you, it's the mind of a madman. The mind of a madman. Hee. So we got the bow staff, the katana, nice. Nice, looking good. Nice. We got this katana here, we got this yari here. Pretty nice. When a katana, wait, that ain't right. Gotta get this ability in here. This other one's gotta hit the hay. Hit the hay, bitch. Uh-oh. There we go. Wait, what? What? There we go. Once per combat affinity. Wait. Still didn't work. Still didn't work out. Alright, just get out of here then. There we go. Once per combat, when priority is yours, you may change the range without discarding your card. What's wrong? Are you okay? You sleepy? She knew what we were doing. I'm just gonna wrap up these cards, then I'm done. Huh? Okay. So we got two more cards. Yeah, I think I'll run through the weapon cards, finish them up, and then I'll call it. The effects might change on the weapon cards, and if anybody thinks of any effects for the weapon cards, any good ideas, let me know. Just let me know. Oh yeah, so basically the Kusarigama is the bow staff's like opposite on my chart. That's why they both have, well, the box isn't right, but they both have 1 and then 3. And then the Naginata is going to probably have 2 and then 2 and 3. Maybe that's not what it's going to be. We'll see how it goes. Uh-oh. Just gotta move too. Alright. So, yeah, you got cut, strike, bash. Should have sent this to the back. Okay. You'd think I would have learned my lesson from the first time. Oh wait. This I didn't make an effect for, so it doesn't matter. I don't have to change that. But I do need to put these in. These are accurate. Alright, so let's think of an effect here. For the Kusarigama. So cut, you could do cut, strike, bash, and sweep. So I said I could use bash at long range. I think that makes it too restrictive in comparison to the other abilities. It needs to have like a general effect. But I still need three other effects. And they all have to be unique. Once per common priority is yours, you may change the range without discarding your card. The Katana affinity card is used in chain, activate, draw card. Once per combat, when priority is yours, you may change the range without discarding your card. Yeah, that's fine. Kusarigama. What can this one be? It could be a bash thing. But maybe bashes and sweeps aren't range restricted. Bashes and sweeps aren't range restricted. So you wouldn't have to discard a card for bashes and sweeps. Well, you already don't have to discard a card for bashes, but... That's not a, that's not the best. That's not the best one. This is tough. Once per combat. So it can be a once per combat ability. It can be a during chain ability. And it could be affinity. Affinity chain. What happened? Huh? It fell? That's not great. It lands on the Jeep. Nice. The Jeep saves all. Ah. Okay. I'll go grab that. Okay. Okay, so it's either priority. Right now it's priority, affinity. The affinity ones are on the katana. So this one should be a priority one then. Maybe I'll do that. It's another priority one. Once per combat, when priority changes, when priority is yours. Once per combat, and priority is yours. Once per combat, when priority changes. You may. Once per turn, once per combat, when priority changes, you may change it back. Once per combat, you may stop priority from changing. No. Once per combat, you may stop the range from changing. I think that might be a little... Is that overpowered? Once per combat, when priority is yours, you may change the range without discarding a card. Once per combat, you may stop the range from changing. Is that... I don't know what that's gonna do. I'll just leave it for now, because I gotta work through this. I gotta get this done. At least for now, I'll keep that. That's not too bad. I don't think it's too bad. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it's all about. I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but we'll see. So what is the affinity for? The affinity is for chaining. Right. The affinity is for chaining. Alright, so this one will have like extended effects. What I mean by that is it'll be able to play a lot of cards without the discarding penalty. Maybe we'd only have 5 though, instead of all 6. Maybe like that. Wait a minute. I think I messed this whole thing up, but it's tough to tell. It's tough to tell right now. I think we should just keep going with it. See how it goes. This is the Naginata. Nog. And I might reword that, but for now I'm gonna leave it. And the last one is the Tetsubo. The Tet. The Tet. Yeah, that didn't seem broken at all. Let's see how it goes. Kinda just took this to a whole new level. See how it goes. Alright. I think I am done for now. I've completed the weapons, at least for their draft state, and maybe I will change these abilities. I will likely change these abilities. I think I need to give the abilities a little more thought. Understand? But once I do, then I will come back with... Oh, and I gotta draw that as well. Oh, there's always more to do. Okay, so catch you next time. Thanks for watching. And if you want to follow Path of Senshi, please go check out the website or go on the Discord. You can find the invite in my description, I believe. And we'll see if this guy Arcvane, thank you Arcvane, I appreciate it. We'll see if he can get in. Gotta figure it out. There's no way to know if I don't find out. Don't test it. Things gotta be tested. All right, huzzah! Huzzah! Adios. Catch you next time.